We're asking the question today, what is the quarterback room situation in the SEC for a lot of these top ranked schools, including Alabama? And here's just a simple question that was raised by a listener. Would Alabama switch places with the Bulldogs for their quarterback room? That's an excellent question. We're going to deep dive into that and more next on Locked On Bulldogs.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Clint Shamblin, Locked On Bulldogs. Glad you are here with us today. We are talking quarterbacks. We're talking quarterback situations. We're talking what does it look like for the quarterback rooms of Georgia to be stacked up against the likes of Alabama and the rest of them here on Locked On Bulldogs. So today, we're going to compare the quarterback room. We're going to talk about if Alabama is in trouble. The answer is yes. And we're going to talk about maybe who else you would rather have than the Alabama quarterback room. And I only bring up Alabama because they're telling me that they're going to win the SEC. And I keep on telling them the LSU Tigers will win from the West and compete against Georgia in the SEC championship in Atlanta because you won't have a quarterback figured out. And that is going to be an Achilles heel for your team. Oh, how the tables have turned, or the turntables have, depending on if you watch The Office or not. Thanks for making us your first listen. Wherever you listen to podcasts, download, subscribe. If you're on YouTube, download, subscribe as well. Thanks for being here. Daniel is out enjoying the summer. I'm back here with you today. No, he did not Alan Judd his way out of a job. He is still currently employed with Locked On Bulldogs. We love him. We're just enjoying some summertime. So let's get right back into it when we're talking quarterback room. As SEC Media Days are happening in Nashville, as Coach Kirby Smart is talking and giving no answers to anybody. This just in, he won't give you an answer. It won't be sincere. It won't be direct. It won't be on point. It won't be anything because Kirby keeps things close to the vest because that's how the man rolls. So he's going to talk about quarterbacks in a very, very vague sense, how each one of them is competing, getting good reps. Unless your name's Stetson Bennett, in which he will dog you to motivate you. But that's not who we have. This is the quarterback room so far. We anticipate Carson Beck to be named starter. And not when I say name starter, I mean come out for snap one as the starter. Brock Vandagriff and then Gunnar Stockton closely behind, as well as those who are coming on campus later. These are 4 or 5-star kids, highly touted, highly recruited, record-setting quarterbacks all on their outright own right. And the thing that we want to talk about today is what each one of these quarterbacks does well. Here's what Gunnar Stockton does well. Let's start from the bottom and work ourselves up to the top just because we like doing that. Gunnar Stockton, very accurate quarterback. He has mobility. I think he's more cerebral. I think he has more of an understanding of the playbook. I think he has more arm talent. I think he is very accurate and has the ability to process information quickly from the playbook and the defense that he is facing. Now, that's not to say the rest of the quarterbacks aren't. I think that's just what his biggest skill set is. He's got the size. He's got the measurables. He has some speed to him. We have seen him take off, but that's not his particular game flavor of choice, which brings me to Brock Vandagriff or Vandelay. He imports touchdowns and exports wins. For those of us who watch Seinfeld, Brock Vandagriff. Now this is more of the run and gun, the slash and shoot, the take some shots, tuck it and go, take a hit, read option. That's what Brock's going to bring you. He's a little bit more wild card in the way that in which he plays. Not saying he's not cerebral. I'm not saying he's not understanding the system. It's just that his particular skill set lends itself more to the athletic ability. When you look at this kid, you're going to say he's an athlete. He's fast. He's strong. He's big. He's quick. He's nimble. That would be what you're talking about with Brock Vandagriff. Carson Beck just has all the arm talent in the entire world. He can zip it. He can touch it. He can float it. He can hit the deep ball. He's got accuracy for days. He has a can of an arm. This is why many UGA players had him throw to them during their pro days, because Carson Beck is the most talented quarterback. Now, he does have a lot of ability to grasp the system that Mike Bobo and Todd Monken had. This guy is all about, just sincerely, all about incredible quarterback play. That's what it is. This guy is an incredible thrower of the football. he has to translate that onto the field. He hasn't had his shot in the SEC being a starter. He has to hold up to pressure. He can't throw interceptions. He can't be a risk taker, because we will then find out what Brock Vandagriff and Gunnar Stockton bring to the table if he does that. And I don't think he will. I think he will be consistently excellent at the quarterback position going forward for UGA. The continuity and system, him being there for many years, him staying. And again, y'all, he's got an electric arm. And you know that, I know that. We've seen that time and time again. He gives us that whoop feel when he throws the football. We're going to come back after this, talk more about another team that doesn't have the same ability in the quarterback room. But first, these. Want to let you know about FanDuel. FanDuel right now is the place to go. It's the official sportsbook of Locked On Podcast, the official sportsbook of Locked On Bulldogs. Daniel and I love FanDuel.com because they are the place that we go to make our bets. Right now, you can get up to $200 in bonus bets. That's right, $200 in bonus bets if you sign up with FanDuel.com. If your state allows it, and I hope your state allows it, get on over there right now. It is fast, reliable, secure. They instantly pay you. You can get that payout instantaneously. They have over-unders. Come back for the locks episode when Daniel and I will be here doing locks of season win totals. We will preview the whole entire year. We will preview whole entire conference games. It's going to be a slate. It's going to be awesome. FanDuel.com/locked on. That's FanDuel.com/locked on for up to $200 in bonus bets. Get over there right now. I don't know what you're doing without it. Every single sports fan needs a good sports book, and this is the one that Daniel and I go to every single time. It's reliable. It is safe. It is quick. It is convenient, and it pays you out. And they have all the lines you could ever ask for right now, up to $200 in bonus bets. FanDuel.com/locked on. Don't forget, terms and conditions apply. All right, now let's turn our attention to a system or a quarterback team that doesn't have the same type of help that Georgia has. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is, of course, the Alabama's and Crimson Tide. Hi, Bama fan. How y'all doing? Glad you are here. Trying to figure out if we dogged you again today, apparently. No, fear not. You haven't made up facts and interesting tidbits of a fictitious story somewhere. So you're not front and center to our Twitter universe, but you're still here. They have the following. This quarterback room, the question that was presented by Clint Taylor over on our Twitter feed. Thanks, Clint, by the way, for doing that. Thanks for putting it out there. Thanks for suggesting this topic to us. And the topic is, would Alabama trade their quarterback room for our quarterback room? The answer is yes. In a heartbeat. Just like if you asked Bama fans, would you trade your coaches? 95% of you would say yes. 100% of us would say no. We would, and we would not in a million years would we ever take Nick Saban above Kirby Smart. And you're going to say, okay, but he's the greatest. Sure, he was. And I'm sure you can beat me in a 40-yard dash one time in your life. You can't now. Here's what the quarterback room for the old Crimson Tide looks like. Milroe, Simpson, Buckner. And here's what we get with these cats. Milroe, a 4-star kid out of Texas. You want to talk about, 6'2", 220. I've heard this before. Stop me if you've heard this before. Just a can of an arm. Just real live on that arm. Just an ability to just juice it up. You see him throwing these deep balls, throwing off. Okay. But again, football isn't played from one knee into buckets. Stetson Bennett can show you that. You can, please stop with this. You can tell, he's exciting. He's big and fast and sturdy. That might impress the Colts, but it doesn't impress anybody else. Okay. So that's their first. Ty Simpson. Now this kid, 5-star kid, when he was coming out, he was the 4th ranked national quarterback, 2nd in the state of Tennessee, 29th nationally, 6'2", 203. He's a redshirt freshman. Here's my problem with Ty. If you can't beat out Milroe, what are you doing with your life? Like, sincerely. They are so thirsty. If Ty Simpson was this 5-star, was pan out, because remember what we think of 5 stars. 5 stars are lotto tickets. They're not guarantees. I'm saying he has talent. He clearly had enough to impress certain people. Maybe at Elite 11 and win a trophy at that or something like that. We're talking Ty Simpson didn't impress enough to beat out Milroe, which is, again, all accounts. He might be the starter. He very well could be. But as right now, reports tell us he didn't do that. And last year, we didn't see a lot of him. So much so, we need to bring in Tyler Buckner. Okay, now this is wild. Tyler Buckner comes on over. He's out of La Jolla, California. Helix, 6'2", 205. I'm fairly certain that's where Reggie Bush is from. If memory serves, down in San Diego. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's the case. 3-star kid coming out as this transfer. A 4-star kid coming out of high school, 3-star as a transfer. And he went to Notre Dame. He's coming over with the new OC, who, by the way, was rumored to take over the Northwestern job when that became available, which is quite terrifying if I'm a Bama fan, that your new OC got brought over and brought his quarterback and now wants to go coach at a just dumpster fire right now. That'd be weird. No reports are that he's doing it. It's rumored at best. But Tyler Buckner comes on over, and here's why this is incredible. Those aren't good quarterbacks. Ty might be. Buckner is not. Milroe, I've seen it. You can be able to do bench press of 500 and still lose in a fight because you don't know how to fight. You could be incredibly fast and still not be able to do an obstacle course. These incredible things that he can do, I'm not impressed. And I hope he wins the starting job, because that means we're going to have an easy field day. Ask Bo Nix, who's a physical, athletic freak who can run around and do all these throws and throw it deep, yada, yada, yada. That's fine by me. Quarterbacks who know how to quarterback now, that terrifies me. And that's not what we have. Ty Simpson, who knows? Again, just beyond wild card. Maybe. But you brought in Tyler, thought enough that he can win the starting quarterback job, that he can with his OC from those two. That's all that I should tell you about Ty Simpson. I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you all the other quarterback rooms that I would rather have other than Alabama. This just in, it's a lot right after this. We're back talking quarterback room and quarterback competition and who you would rather have. Clint Taylor over on Twitter gave us this. Thanks so much for doing so. Here's what I would rather have. I would rather have Georgia's quarterback room. Now you want to talk about ongoing. Now you add Raiola. Now you add Puglisi, and all of a sudden I am beyond thrilled with that. If you told me next year's quarterback room, again, I'm taking Georgia above all else. If you're talking this year, there might be a couple of rooms for this particular year only that I would rather have. And that's because their quarterbacks are incredible. KJ Jefferson is the best quarterback in the SEC. I think he's going to have a monster year. Just my guess. I could be dead wrong. But I think he's going to have a monster year. He's a better quarterback than every single Alabama quarterback. So Arkansas, rather have their quarterback room. Ole Miss, Sanders and Dart, I would rather have their quarterback room, because Sanders might wind up being the starter from that. And if he is, he might have record-setting campaign over at Ole Miss with old popcorn. It might be the case that's what's going on with Sanders and Dart, but I'd rather have them than Alabama. Not rather have them over Georgia. I'd still rather have Carson Beck and the rest of the guys over them. But Ole Miss over Alabama. LSU, Daniels he showed signs of weakness in there. And if he could put it all together, LSU is going to be so dangerous. It's going to be so sickening to me, because they're going to have a better shot this year than last year. And they put up points. I'd rather have Daniels and LSU. I'd rather have South Carolina and Spencer Rattler, because he's shown it. Again, Alabama fan, Georgia fan. Even now we're getting interesting, because again, Carson Beck, I would rather have him, but he hasn't shown it. That's the thing. It's a wild card for us as well. I'd rather still have ours. But man, Rattler, I'd rather have Leary in Kentucky over Alabama. I don't know Leary over our quarterback room. I think I'd rather have Carson Beck in our quarterback room, even though Leary is proven. I do think that. Will Rogers, he's proven in the SEC, but again, questions of system, questions of the Pirate, rest in peace. That might be part of it. I don't know, but certainly over Alabama, maybe not over Georgia. I think I'd rather have the big arm, air it out ability of Carson Beck. And then lastly, here are basically the two teams I'm saying. I'm gonna condense it down. Here are the two teams that I would not rather have than Alabama. That's Vanderbilt and Florida. End of list. I think I'd rather have every other SEC team and their quarterback. I'd much rather have Auburn than Alabama's quarterback room. No question. I'd rather have A&M than Alabama. Again, Georgia, I think, is still going to be 2 or 3, depending if we're talking Jefferson, Rattler, Leary. Those are quarterbacks that I really, really have a lot of respect for so far. But Carson Beck and the quarterbacks, Gunnar Stockton and Brock, probably 2 or 3 in the SEC. Vanderbilt, no thanks. Florida, no. I'd rather have Alabama on top of that. But you're talking South Carolina, yes. Kentucky, yes. Arkansas, yes. Ole Miss, yes. A&M, yes. I mean, it's getting bad, and this is the fatal flaw. They don't have a lot of offensive line for sure's at Bama, and running backs, big question mark still. So you're supposed to be a mauler, hold that. Now quarterback and wide receivers, hold the wide receivers. You got Burton as your number one threat, and quarterbacks big. This all of a sudden becomes a massive question mark. You got talent ever. Again, I'm not saying it's not talented, but it's not the team you think it is. Georgia's quarterback room is a lot better than a lot of the other SEC teams. KJ Jefferson, Leary, Radler, look out for those guys to be exceptional this year. Watch out for Sanders and Dart at Ole Miss to shatter some records. This is just my take. I would not want Alabama's quarterback room. I would love to have ours. Oh, wait, we do. This has been Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. We'll be back tomorrow talking your Bulldogs more and maybe talking about the defense, how, again, we said this last year, it might be better. It will be better. We'll see you guys then.